You're growing. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally. You're not who you used to be. You're more aware, more conscious, more grounded. But something strange is happening. The more you evolve, the more uncomfortable your father seems to become. It's subtle at first, small comments, cold reactions, a shift in energy. But the more you step into your higher self, the clearer it becomes. Your spiritual awakening is triggering something in him. Something deep, something he may not even understand himself. And it's changing the dynamic between you both. This video isn't just about family tension. It's about what happens when spiritual growth forces hidden insecurities to rise to the surface, and how to protect your peace when someone you love feels threatened by your evolution. He starts undermining your confidence subtly. He doesn't directly attack your journey, but his tone shifts. His words carry hidden doubt. You mention something you're excited about, maybe a new insight, a breakthrough, or a boundary you finally enforced. And his response? A raised eyebrow, a quiet chuckle, a vague warning like, just don't take it too far. He starts planting seeds of doubt, not because he wants you to fail, but because your confidence reminds him of all the moments he stayed silent when he should have spoken up. Your spiritual awakening, your inner peace, your new mindset. These things highlight what he never had the courage to pursue himself, and that contrast makes him uncomfortable. So he tries to shrink your progress just enough that it doesn't challenge his own. This isn't about disapproval, it's about displacement. You're becoming someone he doesn't know how to relate to anymore. And rather than face that truth, he tries to pull you back down to the version of you he felt safe around. He avoids conversations that go deeper than the surface. You've started asking different questions, big questions, about life, values, healing, consciousness. But when you try to bring those topics up, he shuts down, changes the subject, becomes visibly uneasy. The truth is, your depth scares him, because depth demands self-reflection. And self-reflection often requires facing things he's buried for decades. You're not trying to confront him, but your presence, your clarity, your peace, it exposes how much noise he still carries inside. It's easier for him to talk about the news, the weather, your job, anything that doesn't require vulnerability. Because vulnerability feels like danger to someone who was taught to survive by pretending nothing's wrong. You're showing him a version of life where truth is welcomed, not avoided. But that version requires courage, and not everyone is ready for it. Especially someone who's spent years building walls to avoid feeling too much. You didn't create the discomfort, but your awakening is lighting it up like a spotlight. He makes passive comments that devalue your journey. Oh, you're into that spiritual stuff now? Must be nice to have time to think about all this. You're always overthinking things. These lines may seem harmless, but they carry a message. He doesn't understand your path, and rather than ask, he mocks. Why? Because understanding would require effort, and effort would require openness, and openness would mean facing the discomfort he's worked hard to avoid. Your growth is foreign to him, not because it's wrong, but because it's free. And freedom can feel like rebellion to someone who learned to follow rules, not question them. He dismisses your journey not because it lacks value, but because it disrupts the version of reality he's accepted his entire life. When you talk about healing, he hears judgment. When you talk about boundaries, he hears distance. And when you talk about transformation, he hears threat. His comments aren't random. They're defense mechanisms. It's easier for him to make fun of your evolution than to admit it's waking up something he buried long ago. He becomes more controlling as you become more independent. You start making choices based on intuition, not tradition. You stop explaining yourself. You say no without guilt. And suddenly he becomes more opinionated. more critical, more involved. It's not because he doesn't respect you. It's because your freedom threatens his sense of control. For years, your decisions might have made him feel needed, relevant, even powerful. But now, you don't seek approval. You seek alignment. And that shift hits him harder than you realize, especially if his role as a father was tied to being the one who knew better. Your independence feels like rejection, not because you rejected him, but because you stopped needing him in the same way. This power struggle isn't about right or wrong. It's about identity. His role is changing, but he hasn't found peace in that yet. So he tries to reassert himself, not to help you, but to quiet the fear inside that he's becoming less significant in your world. And the more you grow, the louder that fear becomes. He gets defensive when you speak your truth calmly. You don't raise your voice. You don't fight. You simply say what's real. That doesn't sit right with me. I need some space. I've realized this isn't healthy for me. These are not attacks. They're boundaries. But to him they feel like betrayal. Because in his world, obedience was love. Agreement was respect. Silence was loyalty. But your awakening has taught you that silence is sometimes self-abandonment. And now that you've stopped abandoning yourself, he doesn't know what to do with the new you. You're not arguing. You're evolving. You're not blaming. You're becoming conscious. But he interprets calm truth as confrontation, because he's never learned how to handle someone who speaks from clarity, not chaos. His defensiveness isn't always about the words you say. It's about the shift in power. You're standing in your light, and that light is casting shadows he's never had to look at before. He tries to pull you back into old roles you've outgrown. You've changed, but he keeps treating you like you haven't. He brings up your past mistakes, jokes about your old habits, tries to make you feel like the younger version of yourself who didn't know better. Why? Because if you've grown, it means he has to catch up or let go. And letting go is hard when someone's identity is tied to who they think you're supposed to be. Your evolution challenges the status quo. It means roles have to shift, and not everyone is ready to update the script. He may not say it out loud, but on some level, he misses when you doubted yourself, when you sought his validation, when you stayed quiet to keep the peace. That version of you was easier to manage. But now, you've become your own person, and that liberation can be lonely for both of you. You're not abandoning him. You're becoming you. But sometimes, people can't separate your growth from their grief over the role they used to play in your life. Your spiritual growth isn't the problem. It's the mirror. And mirrors make people uncomfortable, especially when they reflect what's been avoided for years. Your journey is valid. Your evolution is real. And just because it triggers someone else's insecurities doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something brave. You're becoming conscious in a world that rewards numbness. You're choosing awareness over avoidance, truth over tradition, freedom over familiarity. And yes, that comes with resistance, especially from those closest to you. But don't let their discomfort become your guilt. Don't dim your light just to keep their shadow comfortable. Keep rising. Keep reflecting. Keep becoming. Because the world needs more people like you. People who choose growth, even when it costs them comfort. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. Truly, it means you're not just watching, you're waking up. If this resonated with you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps more people like you find the strength to keep evolving. And remember, even when it feels lonely, you're not alone. We're in this awakening together, one conscious step at a time.